Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to break down some boxing.
Awesome. Well, today we're tackling one of the biggest names in the sport, Canelo Alvarez.
Oh, yeah. Can't go wrong with Canelo, a real force in the ring.
Exactly. And we're going to zero in on one specific aspect of his fighting style, something that's made him a global superstar, his knockout power.
Now, that's a topic that could get anyone pumped. I mean, the guy's got some serious stopping power.
For sure. And to help us unpack all of this, we're going to be pulling insights from this piece, pasted text, which goes into some pretty incredible detail about the mechanics behind some of his most impressive wins.
It sounds fascinating. I always love getting into the nitty-gritty of how these fighters deliver those knockout blows.
Yeah, me too. And I think what's really captured my attention about this particular piece is that it goes beyond just saying, oh, Canelo hits hard. It actually dives into the strategy behind those hits.
Right, it's not just brute force with him.
Exactly. Like, they use words like brutal and decisive,
Mm.
which, okay, yeah, the guy delivers some serious punishment.
Definitely.
But then they also talk about how he targets opponents' weaknesses and waits for just the right moment to strike. You know, like he's not just swinging wildly, he's got a plan.
Oh, absolutely. And you can see that in the way he sets up his knockouts. Like, take that uppercut against Yuri Gonzalez. They even call it a surprising uppercut in here. It wasn't just about raw power. It was perfectly timed, perfectly placed.
Totally. It almost seemed like Gonzalez didn't even see it coming. So could you break down for us a little bit more about what goes into generating that kind of knockout power?
Sure. A lot of people think it's all about arm strength, but it's really so much more than that.
Right, like it's got to be more than just big muscles.
Exactly. It's about generating force from your entire body, using your legs, your core, your hips. Everything works together to create momentum, and that's what delivers that devastating impact.
So it's like if you're just swinging your arm, yeah, you might land a punch, but it's not going to have that same knockout power.
Exactly. You need that full body force behind it. Like, think of a baseball swing. A powerful hitter uses their whole body to generate power, not just their arms. It's about timing and technique.
Right, right. I get it. And the source makes a really interesting point that Alvarez isn't just a brawler, he's a tactical fighter. So how does that play into his knockout power?
Well, like we were just talking about, he doesn't just throw punches for the sake of throwing punches. He's very calculated in the ring.
He's thinking ahead.
Absolutely. He'll wear you down with those jabs, keep you at a distance, maybe work in some body shots to tire you out. Then, bam, he sees an opening and he capitalizes on it with incredible precision. That body shot against Fielding, perfect example. It wasn't just a powerful punch, it was placed exactly where it needed to be to exploit a weakness in Fielding's defense.
Wow. And it's interesting because the source points out that a lot of these knockout victories happened when he was really young, like some of them when he was only 20. What does that tell us about him as a fighter?
It's incredible, right? I mean, to have that kind of knockout power and that level of tactical awareness at such a young age, it's really remarkable.
Like he was almost destined for greatness from the start.
Well, talent definitely plays a role, but it also speaks volumes about his work ethic. Even as a young fighter, Alvarez was known for his rigorous training regimen.
Yeah, like that champion mentality they talk about in here.
Exactly. He was always pushing himself, sparring with bigger, more experienced guys. He was constantly learning and refining his technique, and I think that's a big part of what allowed him to develop so quickly. Remember that early knockout against Baltimore? Classic example.
So we've talked about his power, his precision, his strategic thinking. But let's be honest, a huge part of Canelo's appeal is that he's just so exciting to watch. And those knockouts, they're a big part of that, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Knockouts are the ultimate highlight reel moment in boxing. They're unpredictable, they're dramatic, and they create this electrifying energy in the arena.
Like you never know when one's coming, but when it does.
The crowd goes wild. And from a business perspective, those knockouts are gold. They lead to bigger pay-per-view numbers, more sponsorship deals, and they definitely contribute to a fighter's overall star power.
So Canelo's got the power, the precision, the strategy, the fan appeal. What's next for him? Where does he go from here?
That's the big question, isn't it? He's already achieved so much, but he's still relatively young in boxing terms. He could continue to dominate for years to come.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fight left in him.
But the interesting thing is, as he gets older, as his opponents get tougher, will he be able to maintain that same reliance on knockouts? Or will he need to adapt his style to ensure a longer career?
Interesting. So it's like, will he evolve beyond just being the knockout king?
Exactly. The balance between power and adaptability, that's something to watch in the coming years.
Definitely a lot to think about. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the world of Canelo Alvarez and his knockout power. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. See you next time.